be connected to it. And if you're disconnected from it and don't seek it, with its hand always extended out to you, even this cancerous energy has a giant hand saying, just grab it, man, just grab it. Then you'll say, I don't believe in God. What if one of your skin cells said, if one of my skin cells said, I don't believe John exists. If you exist, John, show me yourself. Well, I can't, because it makes me up. I can't shrink myself down without shrinking it down. It can't perceive me in my full form from the outside to see me as a being if it's within my being. I can love it, send it nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, electrolytes, minerals, oxygen. But when it's healthy, it just knows that. Cancer is induced by trauma. And that can come in various ways. It could be a virus. It could be UV damage to a cell. What happens there? The DNA gets so beat up, base pairs are removed. It has different repair mechanisms. Sometimes it's able to replace base pairs that have been lost. Sometimes it's so screwed up it undergoes what's called gross repair. It just starts putting them together at random. Normally the cell dies. But sometimes it creates what's called an oncogene, or this is how they assess it molecularly. Like computers, geneticists don't get it. If you take an advanced genetic course in university, you'll see that everything is explained to you either in math or structure. You take chemistry and it's all structure, electronegativity. The Creator put in my mind, there's an element right away. What's missing from the periodic table? Time. But anyway, electronegativity is the tendency of an atom, or the nucleus of an atom, to want to draw electron consciousness around it within a molecule. You see that with water. Oxygen would be considered an electronegative atom, and hydrogen's not. So when you have two hydrogens hanging off of an oxygen, and you have all the electron consciousness bathing it, surrounding it, seeing itself as I, the water molecule, it decides to allocate more electrons, or that consciousness, around the oxygen. Therefore, less electron energy is shielding the hydrogens. So they call it a polarized molecule, or polar. Positive charge by the hydrogens and negative or more electron consciousness around the oxygen. Well, okay. So it's like magnets or magnetic attraction. If you start to get large molecules, they can start to have different... When you have proteins in your body, let's deal with the body. You have different levels of structure. They call them primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. Tertiary would be... Primary is just the chain. Secondary is the winding of the chain. Tertiary would be folding of the chain upon itself to take a shape. Quaternary would be different molecules coming together and being magnetically attracted to each other, like an antibody would be quaternary structure. Okay? Why am I telling you this? Because how does an enzyme then? An enzyme is a protein with a large chain, in chains wrapped around themselves to take a shape. Scientists say, well, there are different atoms in there that are electronegative, and they draw a certain amount of electron consciousness around themselves, therefore, making other atoms more positively charged as it appears. So any molecule that will come in contact with it will be magnetically attracted to the various components of that enzyme. Just a computer thinking that through. Then you have coenzymes that attach to the enzyme, like certain B vitamins that, because of its electronegativity, draws certain electronegative consciousness or certain electron consciousness around itself, therefore shielding less of certain parts of the enzyme. So because of that, changes certain magnetic relationships and it changes its shape. And then you have cofactors which attach to the certain coenzymes like magnesium, and that draws more, or gives off more electrons to change its shape, turn it on, turn it off, like a computer. DNA multiplies because you have a helicase enzyme that starts to go anywhere within the DNA and open it up like a bubble and unwind it, unzip it. And then polymerase enzyme will attach itself to a certain codon and begin to move down that codon to transcribe RNA, which is then transferred to a ribosome, which reads that through electronegative attraction and transcribes an amino acid, which becomes a protein, which becomes a structure. What? Okay, that is, yeah, that structure that is occurring, sure. What they're missing is the consciousness involved. What do you think, that just happens at random? Meiosis and mitosis are just random acts of accidental attraction due to electronegativity and charge within certain molecules? What? And you actually have professors that think they know something that teach this. The reason they think they know something is because they're only allowed to know that and ridiculed if they don't, or if they don't follow that, so that they can brainwash other students and keep them from thinking. It's structure. And even the consciousness that runs it is structure. Let me give you a really good example of what I mean. Because, see, I could go on all day about this. Literally, I could have a 150-hour upload. I could go on about science, properties, reality, whatever, all day. It will do nothing for you. I need to give you metaphors. I need to give you the ability to understand what I'm talking about. So let me try to do that for you. I remember going through the pre-med major was a breeze for me. Did I get all A's? No. Sometimes I made the decision to do something else. But when I studied it, I enjoyed it, but I had nobody around who understood it. There was one professor who memorized a lot that I like, and he was a Jewish professor who always felt this need to challenge me. I know why now. But we still get along. We just last month we were arguing for like 4 hours about who runs the world and what's going on, back and forth, of course, the Jewish thing, back and forth. I had intuition, he had structure. We end with a hug, of course, because he knew that I saw through that and saw what was occurring with him on one level. When I had him he was my physiology professor, but I also took clinical endocrinology with him. And I had other things going on. I missed 3 weeks of class straight. I went into his office, and the exam was the following day. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked, aren't I? Not because I didn't think I could do it. I just knew that the protocol of everything. You need to be here this long in order to learn. This is what I believe, that type of thing. But we sat down and had a heart-to-heart talk about life for about an hour, and I really appreciated that. He took the time to do that. I really did appreciate that. And he said, okay, well, the exam's tomorrow. Here's what you need to know. And he handed me about 3 inches thick of, information, notes, handouts, all of that. By then, I knew that I could understand what I was looking at from a different point of view. I said, okay. I took it home and learned it. Didn't memorize it. I learned it, which allowed me to retain it. And I took the exam, and then, of course, he hands it back the following week, and he throws it down on my desk, shaking his head.